Today, I'm going to talk to you about this thing between your ears, those 7 ounces of space. And so, according to Harvard University studies, our activity, our day-to-day activity is 46.9% on autopilot, meaning that we wake up, by default, we just start walking. We wake up, by default, we brush our teeth. We by default follow the same routines that we have on a regular basis, right? So 46%, or almost 47% of the time, we are just following that same path with no change. And the interesting thing is about the default mode, as they call it in Harvard studies, is that it is subconscious. Is that it's an auto-programmed way of doing things, right? You're led by things that you're not in control of, whether it's marketing, whether it's behavior that you were taught, whether it's people who are around you and telling you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. There is no choice about it. It's just what you are to do. Some of us, I can speak for myself, before I started the entrepreneurial journey 11 years ago, it was always wake up, go to work. Whenever I'm told, hey, Ali, you can go ahead and take a break, I did that. Whenever I'm told, hey, it's slow, you can go home, I did that. But I never made a decision for myself, professionally speaking, that is. So that's an example of how you can be on that autopilot, no choices. It's about the autopilot, or the default mode, is that it is memory driven. So it's driven by things that were instilled within you. So if anyone said something to you like, you don't have what it takes, you're not good enough, you need to learn more, those emotions lead us to accept that status that we were given, and therefore we're going forward to say, yes, I am not good, I am not this, or I am so on and so forth. So by default, that usually ends up building the problems that we have. So you got to be very aware of that, because half of your day you are creating that subconscious activity that might not be to the best of your interest. Now, on the other side, the other half is what we call controlled, or as they call it, the default mode. And the default mode itself is direct activity, is conscious activity, is deliberate thinking, is purpose driven thinking. It's very carefully activated, and it is not an event, right? You can't just say, I am positive, and all of a sudden life just turns around and becomes good. What people fail to understand is the direct mode itself, it is 100% based on daily, hourly, and by the minute activity. Every single minute of the day count, and every single word that you or anyone around you is saying puts that action into creation mode, right? In other words, if I tell you right now, like, hey man, you are so good at doing Facebook Lives, you got this thing, go ahead and knock it out the park, you get dopamine that starts kicking in, the chemicals from your brain start telling you, like, maybe I got this thing, and then you go ahead and you become more conscious of your greatness. So those are the two things that are, for the most part, in control of your brain. Here's the interesting thing about the brain. The brain listens. There are what are considered neuron cells that literally, you say, I'm happy, they instantly release certain amounts of chemicals that make you naturally act happy, smile, feel good, stand straight. Anything that you follow the word I am, by default, it releases what's called confidence. It releases the proper emotions that you need to have to feel motivated, to feel excited, to feel inspired, to feel like you want to move forward and do certain things, to feel like your mindset is so open to identify opportunities. And that itself is what's called the default mode network. Please Google it, YouTube search the default mode network. And here is what that means. The moment you say, I know I'm righty, but I'm going to start writing with my left hand as of right now, your brain releases those neurons. But the more you're telling your brain, I am capable of writing with my left hand, the more of those chemicals that are being released from your brain to the rest of your body to give your hand the ability to learn. Now, here's what happens. Because it is not an event, rather it is a process, you have to keep telling yourself that I can become lefty. And the more you're saying that, your brain is releasing those chemicals, therefore giving your hand the ability. Therefore, the more you are doing it, the better you are getting good at it. Now, here's what starts happening in the interesting part, where both sides of the brain starts crossing each other. See, Now this is a conscious move that I'm forcing on my body, I'm forcing on my brain. But because the default mode itself, right, that 46.9% that Harvard University studies identified, because it operates on memory, the more I am doing that activity, the more that my brain is storing the ability that my left hand can actually write. So it's not a miracle. It's not like an, oh my God, it is a prodigy. No one has ever done this before. No, it's the fact that you went from a default mode to a direct mode. You went from the operation of subconscious, I am just walking and following what my body tells me, to the point where I tell my body what to do. Now imagine if you can apply that to the way you handle business every single day, the way you are in your relationship every single day, the way you act within your peers, the way you eat the food that you are eating, right? We all say, I don't have enough money. No, you're telling your body, I am not able nor am I capable to make enough money. And then you start convincing yourself that I don't have what it takes. You start convincing yourself that I now have to look for someone else or something else, whether it's a job or whatever the case may be, to fix my problems, and you start adopting the victim mentality. Woo! I am dropping truth bombs, baby. What I'm saying to you is you have 100% of the time the strength, the willingness, and the ability, as long as you are willing to say, I am able, capable, and teachable. As long as you tell yourself, I have what it takes. As long as you identify those strong core values, as we talk about all the time, that give you the strength to say, you know what, my man, I got this. I'm gonna go and do it. I am strong, I am fearless, I am amazing, I am powerful, I am handsome, I am intelligent, I am capable, I am multilingual, like whatever the things that you want to do, the more you are telling your neuron cells that I am and I have what it takes, the brain says, your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. That's the law of attraction, right? People think, oh my God, the law of attraction, I'm going to close my eyes and hum and look to the sky and say, give it to me, universe. Does not work just like that. Like essentially, you don't know how it works and it accidentally starts happening. But if you understand the power of you telling your mindset, here is what I'm expecting out of you. It's not magic. No, your brain, scientifically speaking, would release enough chemicals to tell your body you are able to get up and walk. That's why so many people, it's the whether it's from a spiritual side of things, whether it's from medical side of things, you hear about this is a medical miracle. This is a spiritual miracle. Well, yes, there was a catalyst, which was whether the church, whether the pastor, or whatever the case may be, it ends up getting the brain to start believing enough, and then the brain starts acting and giving the body the required chemicals and factual needs to get up and start walking, while that human being was told, you're never going to be able to walk again, Mr. John Doe. So it's very interesting how we as human beings allow the subconscious mind, or the default mode, to run 90 to 100% of our day if and only if we were conscious of this fact and start operating on a direct mode. You will literally control your mindset and your body and your activity and the opportunities that come. It is not necessarily just a magical thing. I can say it over and over and over again. It is factual, scientifically proven process, and it is not an event. Some of us say, tomorrow I'm going to start going to the gym. Tomorrow I'm going to start eating healthy. Tomorrow that's the wrong activity. What you need is smaller steps to get you to the bigger ones, and then keep on going. If you understand this concept, if you say, oh my God, excuse me, I just told myself I'm not good at math. Your body says and your brain says, okay, I won't give you the abilities. But if you say, you know what, I can learn math, your brain says, I'll give you every single tool that you need for you to learn math. And you start operating and recognizing every opportunity for you to learn math. This is why you see all these crazy, beautiful stories. I saw a story of a child that was homeless and made it and has gotten accepted in 17 colleges. How do you go from homeless to being accepted in 17 colleges? He didn't have any opportunity to have someone to mentor and tutor him and help him out with books and clothing and so on and so forth. But he told himself somewhere in there, I am a genius and I'm going to do great things in my life. And the body says, I will release enough chemicals for you to identify those resources that are, even though they may be limited to the masses, but to you is all you need to get to that level that you need to have. So